So the basic in this episode is you should always look for someone that are a A player. There is a A player out there. You need to believe there's a A player. So I hope this short episode helped you to think more about hiring and will inspire you to hire more people. Please leave a comment, give some feedback if you like this episode. I started my first company in 2001, 2002, and I have hired a lot of people. And one of the things that I figured out in 2016 that I wanted to start a company that I didn't need to have employees. So it could be just Maria and me running a company together. And I think it was a brilliant idea because we wanted to have more freedom and also move to a warmer place. We started with that and it went really well. But after a while, we are still ambitious. So we come to the maximum of what we could do, just two of us. So we figure out we need to start to hire people again. And before we hired the first person, we also had a mentor that we talk with about this, because I was trying to talk me out of hiring people and trying to find a way to automate things or make it easier or whatever. And he said to me, Peter-Erik, my first experience with having an online business, when I understand that I need to treat it like a normal business. Online business is a normal business and you need people to work for you. Also, another entrepreneur that I was in a mastermind said will really hit me was that you need to hire a person 3 months before you really need it. And I think that was one of the things that took me, because before, when I ran companies, I always hired because I was in a kind of deep shit. I come to a place where I need a person because we was overload, we just needed it. And when you need a person, you just hire the first one who comes up. I talk with so many entrepreneurs, and I also done it by myself, the mistakes that I come to a place where I just have a friend that said, oh, maybe we can work together. And I didn't use any time on the hiring process and see if it was the right person. And when I did that, almost 9 out of 10 times it was a mistake to do it. I also seeing that with entrepreneur, you hire a friend or you hire someone you know or someone who are around you. And first of all, maybe it's not so good to have a friend working for you. It can work, but you should still think about it like a hiring process. It's like if you go into a relationship and are dating a man or a woman or something, you're just not deciding on the first date that you're going to move together and married. It takes some time. You need to check out this thing. And one of my mentors said to me one time, or he has a quote that I really like, hire slow, fire fast. I think this is one of the most challenging things for entrepreneur, because we love people. I love people. So when I see someone that I start to work with and I really like them like a person, but I forget to see, is this a person that are really helping me to get more freedom and also less stress in life? Or is it someone by bringing in more stress in life and give me less freedom? And this happens so many times. So you just need to be really hard with it. And I think the problem with hiring the wrong person, the person also doesn't feel good about it. So you are doing a favor if you just fire a person when you figure it out. And also this thing with hiring slow, firing fast is just to use a long time to do the hiring process. Have other candidates, use time on interviewing, ask questions. And one of the things that I have figured out for myself, I should trust the gut feeling. Because I'm many times like, oh, the CV looks really good. The history of the person looks super good. Everything looks good. But I start to get a little bit bad stomach feeling. I remember the last person we had that in Awesome. It was a person that looks really good, did a good job, and did everything good in the start. But I still had this small bad stomach feeling. And I told Maria many times, I have this, I don't know what it is. Everything looks perfect in him, but I just have a gut feeling that there's something wrong. And it was something wrong. And the thing is, like, you should always trust your gut feeling, even if everything looks perfect, because it will cost you so much more time, stress, money, and frustration if you hire a wrong person than if you just wait and find the right person. And also, I know that many entrepreneurs also kind of give up the hiring process because they tried so many and they never find the right one. And they're thinking always, oh, I'm doing this so good. So every time I try to get someone in, I need to go in and do it. And this is kind of the ego thing that you take over for a person again. But another thing is like you're hiring someone and they're not the right person and you give up. There is a perfect match for you out there. There is a perfect match for me out there. Why I'm also recording this episode now is because I am in the middle of a hiring process now. I was reading this book which is called Ready, Set, Fire. Ford is his name. I don't remember his first name, but Ford. But that is a really good entrepreneur book. And he's saying something when you hire someone, if they're not surprising you in a good way the 3 first week, it's not a A player. And if you are feeling that they don't deliver what you're expecting the 3 first week, you should just get rid of them. In an entrepreneurial company that are growing, you should have a turnover between 50 to 70% because it's so hard to find the right person. And I also have this experience. We can use a long time on the hiring process, but still we are doing mistakes when we hire them. But it's all about to fire fast. When you figure out that someone are not working, if someone doesn't work and they are doing kind of strange thing the first 3-4 weeks and even let's say the 6 first weeks that you have maybe a process to teach them thing, if they're not delivering in that 6 weeks, you should stop thinking about, oh, there is something wrong with me or there's something wrong with how I teach her or him this process, because it's not a match. That doesn't mean that the person is stupid or not capable to do stuff. It's just not the right match for you. I have, for example, this thing like, I like entrepreneur. I can give halfway messages. And I really believe that I give a really good explanation of what I want to have done. But I am saying, can you make this for me? And someone are saying yes. A really A player for me is then they're coming back to me. And I have one of this in my team coming back to me and saying, Patrick, is this what you want? And I'm saying, no, I don't want this. I want blah, blah, blah. And others are just like getting my half message, trying to do it, coming back with a totally wrong thing and work with it for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. So this was not what I expected. It's not you are doing something wrong. It's all about to look at what kind of needs you have. Because you are hiring someone, you are trying to find a person that are going to match you. You are not going to change. You need to find a person who can change, or you need to find a person that matches you. That's an A player for you. And especially for me, I need someone who can take my messages, come back to me, see if this is what I mean, and do it. And one of my mentors also said one time, like, you should build a business around the worst version of yourself. And for example, the worst version of me, it's I am not detail-oriented, so I lose a lot of things with details. What I mean with the worst version of myself, or what he mean, it was Rich Sheffrin, by the way, so I say this quote. If I don't find someone who can match me with what I'm really, really bad at, then my company will never grow. And a thing that many entrepreneurs also do wrong is like they're trying to hire someone who are like themselves. Because we like ourselves. So if you find someone that are, oh, this is a nice person, I can explain what I need, and then person really understand it, but that's not how you grow a company. You're not growing a company with copying yourself. Then it will be more chaotic, especially for me. If I had 2 or 3 of me in a company, it will be just a disaster. Everything will be screwed up and it will just be a mess and it will be 1,000 ideas. So I need someone who are different from myself that can help me to implement all the things that I want in a company and checking in. I go back to this thinking about I am in a hiring process now. And I think the most important thing for me is like I get so excited when I get back to the hiring process because I believe in people. And right now I'm looking at the application I get for this position, and I get so many great applications. And I believe that one of this is an A player. And an A player, I think I have figured out for myself, if I have 3 or 4 A players in my company, that's so magic. I remember Darren Hardy had a book called the Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster. And in that book, he says something about hiring an A player. It costs you a lot of money, but it's a good investment. It's kind of a ROI. And I had this discussion with my finance manager, and I had discussion with all the people that are not risk takers like me. You can't hire someone who costs 10K per month because you don't have money for it. I'm not saying that you can pay someone 10K per month and that's will be a perfect person. But if someone has the right attitude, the right values, all the right things, and they can do the job, it's helpful for you to have someone who cost you 10K that really can bring in more money or release you from a lot of work so you can bring in more money than having someone you pay 2 or 3K and it's just a normal average person because you need to work or teach that. I remember my last company in Norway, we have something that government support for people that are unemployed. And we think this was a genius idea because we didn't have so much money. So we could get people for 3, 6 or 9 or 12 months almost for free because we gave them a job. I was thinking like, oh, this is brilliant. We get people to do stuff for us. But what I didn't think about is like how much time I used to teach them things, how much time I used to follow them up, how much time I did that. And as an entrepreneur, I want people who take time away from me where I can just release it. If I can sleep really good at the night, I know that I have people just taking care of it and I know it's taken care of. That makes me also more confident on selling more, pushing more, growing more because I have stuff that I believe that can do it. And that's also why I'm looking for someone who I'm going to have in my team. And if I don't have that, it takes a lot of stress from me. And you feel like you're kind of giving up the idea of having a company that are working without you. I'm not giving up that idea, but I need a player. I need to have the right person that are really good in what they're doing and can release stress. And the most fun or interesting part with it is not about skills. It's about mindset. So for example, we are running a digital marketing company and what we need is not an engineer. It's not like, I don't need an Einstein. I just need someone who really can do what I tell them to do and also are organized and have this mindset things because you can't teach people mindset. You can't teach people values, but you can teach them skills. You know, sometimes I'm see a bartender or I see a restaurant, someone working in a restaurant or I see someone working in a shop and I see how good they are and what they're doing. And I'm always thinking like, I want a person like this because you see the attitude. The attitude is so much more important than skills. We can always learn skills. Like I said, it's not so hard for us to teach someone Facebook ads. It's not so hard to teach how to build a funnel. It's not so hard to teach how to follow up a client. It's not so hard to teach how to do project management, but you need to have the mindset to do these things. So if I have a superstar that I see a CV from and I have another and the CV is perfect, a lot of things, but they don't follow awesome values, I'll not hire that person. But if I have someone who kind of like our values and want to work with us because they have the same values, it's much more easy to turn that into a superstar with skills than it is to have someone who just have the skills. And I also have experience of that. We had some really great marketers working for us, but they didn't have the values for Maria and me and the values for the company, and they didn't want to follow the values, even if they did really good. And it happened again, even if they did a really good job, it kept me awake in the night because I couldn't communicate with the person. And I think it's so important that you have someone you can communicate with and you feel like you're on the same line. That is open and honest dialogue. One of my best person, she's telling me when she feel like I'm doing shit. If I'm doing wrong decision, she's telling me. If she's not agreeing with me, she's telling me. And you know how beautiful that is for me, that I have someone who are coming to me and give me input on what they mean. It's not that I agreeing with her all the time, but at least I have the conversation, so I will get challenged from someone in my team. And I love that. So that is also what you should look for. So the basic in this episode is like, I really want you to think about, you should always look for someone that are a player. There is a player out there. You need to believe there's a player. I also want to say that we use a lot of LinkedIn ads to find the person. So LinkedIn is a really good place to find people. But sometimes they are nearer than you believe. Maybe it's just around the corner or whatever. They can be just around. But you should not only have one person that you consider for a job. You should have 3, 4, or 5 people that you should consider. I also recommend you to have someone else, either if you do this online, listen to the interviews to give you feedback on them. Someone are different than your personality. We can see things in the interview that you're not seeing. I say that I am always looking for my gut feeling, but I have this rule now that 4 of us in the company should listen to all interviews. We should be in the interviews. We should look at the person. And if one of these 4 have a gut feeling that this is not the right person, I decide that I don't want to hire them, because the gut feeling is so much more important than the skills and what they are answering and all the thing. And sometimes you can't explain why you have a gut feeling, but it's always right. So I hope this short episode helped you to think more about hiring and will inspire you to hire more people. And please leave a comment or give some feedback if you like this episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode.
To dig deeper, visit awesome.com/scalinglife. That's awesm.com/scalinglife. You'll find show notes, resources, and links mentioned in this episode, as well as links to our socials.
If you like what you heard, please rate and review us on the podcast platform of your choice. Your feedback is so important to help more entrepreneurs to discover this show.
Our goal is to provide inspiration, and we hope you'll continue scaling alongside us. Thanks for your support, and see you next time.